Letting my silicone carbide stone soak a little bit before we get started. Tonight we're going to finish tackling this Maxamet Spyderco Native 5. I've had it for about a week and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. I've used it exclusively at work. I use this knife cutting cable, splicing, stripping, hitting metal copper, hitting metal shielding, cutting heat shrink tubing, and just about every other task I had to use a knife for at work. This guy got used. It is still fairly sharp. I was not able to really damage the edge much. It's not quite as keen as it was when I first pulled it off the stones, but it's certainly not a bad edge. However, there are a few little minor flaws in the bevel that I'd like to try to correct if I can, and I want to send this back to JT with as good an edge as I can produce on Maxamet steel. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me get this out of the way and we'll come back when I'm all set up. My last go around with this knife, we started with the 1K stone. Tonight I'm going to start with the 240 because I am going to do a full sharpening. Now the key to Maxamet, from what I understand, is to create as small as a burr or no burr at all if possible. So that's the goal we're going to aim for. Like I said, there's a few little imperfections in the bevel I'm looking to try to correct, and I've just about reached everything I need to on this side. Ooh, that's no good. About cut my finger off. Got just a hair more grinding to do on this side and we'll be done. I lapped this stone recently and I left it conditioned with a really aggressive texture just for the specific task, so I knew it would cut aggressively. I've got a teeny tiny burr built up, so I'm going to switch over. We'll get this side going. I can still hear that 2500 grit over there in the water bubbling away. I normally let these stones soak for about 5 minutes. I'm not even touching the bevel right here because of that plunge grind. That's wild. Like I said, a little like in the factory, the sharpening, they took this side down further than they should have, and then they try to correct it by angling even more obtuse. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. And I think we're just about there. And that aggressive texture on my stone is almost completely gone. On this side anyway. Wow. Thought I was almost there, but apparently not. I think they ground this knife. I don't think it's in the bevel, I think it's the actual grind of the knife. I heard that Maxamet is a pain to machine. I believe they may have taken more material off of one area. Which is now going to reflect in the bevel. Would not be the first knife I've seen that done in. It really sucks it was done in this one though. I'm going to go ahead and try to cut some of this burr off. And from here on out, on my other two stones rather, I'm going to go for as little or no burr as possible. I believe I got it all. Man, that base of that cutting edge is just awful. Of course, it's a 240 grit stone, so we're going to have a toothy, aggressive edge. This is the 1000 grit silicon carbide stone from Gritomatic. I'm not going full-blown crazy sharpening with this, but I'm not taking extreme care like I did with JT's other knives. He really wants to put this one to some use, so it's going to get wear and tear on it, so I'm not being ultra conservative with the way I treat it. And that's not to say I'm abusing it, far from it. I didn't do anything with this knife I wouldn't do with any of my own, customs included. I really cannot give you any details on how difficult Maxamet is to sharpen because I'm using these stones, and these stones, it feels like any other steel I've ever sharpened. Nothing difficult, nothing stands out. I mean, it's just like any other sharpening. Did go a little lower than I meant to on a few of those strokes, so I rode the shoulder a little bit, which I didn't want to do, but it's not hurting anything, so it still is pretty tough. It also develops a patina, which I wasn't expecting. I've kind of cleaned some of it off, but right in here, back in here, and down in the choil area, I've noticed little dark areas where the knife has developed patina from use. Not real sure what's caused them. Just oil from your skin or just something in whatever it is it's cut. That being said, if I ever got a knife in Maxamet, I would probably look at doing that apple cider vinegar treatment, getting it as dark gray or close to black as I possibly could. So I'm going to check the edge, make sure that I'm burr free, or as close to burr free as I can get. Don't feel any. The cuts seem to be pretty clean. No hang-ups. It's wet. That's what caused that one. I think we're good. And this is going to be my final stone for this knife. This is the 2500 grit silicon carbide from Gritomatic. Altering my angle there because of the way this bevel's ground. I got some scratches right up on the shoulder. They're going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, hopefully the strop will get them. Buff them out a little bit. I don't want to ride the shoulder too much. It's going to make the bevel size even higher than it is, and I don't want it to look like one bevel is way higher than the other. Did go a little low there. Get some of this build up and load up off the stone. I do believe we are done. That's pretty doggone good. I'm gonna grab my CBN strops and we'll get this guy finished up. I can't recommend highly enough getting some silicon carbide stones from Gritomatic. In my experience, they are just the absolute best stone you can use for really high vanadium, high carbide steels. This is a CBN emulsion from Kenneth Schwartz. I don't want to polish off all the teeth. Yeah, that's still nice. I'm going to go ahead and try moving a little bit finer to 1 micron and perhaps 0.5 micron after that. So this is the 1 micron. Strop got away from me there for a second. You can still see the scratches left in the bevel from that factory sharpening, but not much I can do unless I really want to increase that bevel, and I do not want to do that. Knife still feels nice and toothy, so we're going to go ahead and hit it on a 0.5 micron. Let's see where his final edge is. That is nice. Not too polished. Still got some aggression to it, but perfectly capable of push cutting. Don't cut your finger off, JT. So this is the edge magnified. I apologize for the shakiness, but I am not good at holding this thing steady. I think it's got a really pretty scratch pattern. You can see that apex got cleaned up really nice. And this is the side where we're going to see the factory scratches right up on the shoulder, right here. The only way I could get those out is to increase my angle and make it more acute. It's pretty rounded right now, so you can't really tell, but that is at a more acute angle than what I sharpened at. And what I sharpened at, I was following the factory bevel. I really like the scratch pattern. I think it looks really good. See if I can get that. Well, stropping it kind of helped blend that deeper scratching in on the shoulder, so you can't really see it now. There you go. Here's an angle of it. Right back in here. Anyway. Not that big a deal. No one would ever notice if you didn't point it out to them. It's not a mirror polish. It's got a little reflectivity to it, but it's still got a lot of teeth and a lot of aggression, so it's an excellent slicer. I found this edge, when it's polished, it behaves very much like 1095 and 420HC. Those steels, I find, with a polished edge, they glance across things. For instance, if you're trying to cut this napkin, they will not bite into it no matter what you do. You see, this is actually biting into it and cutting. 1095 will just sit here and run across it and never actually bite into it. And I find when this steel gets polished, it does the exact same thing. So having a little teeth and a little aggression to it, that's where you want it. As I said previously, I haven't seen any real problem with sharpening this steel. It's behaved very well. Although I did use silicon carbide stones. I'm not sure how it would behave with diamonds or any other water stone, but with the stones I chose, it worked a treat. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. I appreciate you watching. Yeah, have a good one.